Perfect. There we are. So you asked me about the Predator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all right. It's a different type of hang on, there we are. It's a different type of flying. It's taken me 5 attempts to get that thing in the air. And I've got it in the air and I flew it today and it was okay. But it literally, when I normally fly a plane, I'm not normally that sensitive with it. But with this one, you've got to be. It's so touchy. The slightest thing, and it just starts banking over. And you'll see it next week. But it's crazy. It's crazy. It's good fun though. When as soon as you learn this little foibles, it's all right. It's just getting to learn the thing, because otherwise, it's taken me 5 attempts to fly it. But yeah, it's been all right. What about you, mate? What about you? I saw you took the Holy Stone up. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. What did you think?
It's the aircraft itself is awesome. It's really, really stable. It's flatter than the petrol in its flight. It's, even at top speed, it's pretty slow. But if for mounting cameras and things on it, it's going to be great because it's really, really stable. The Wi-Fi feed was pretty. I mean, the picture quality was good, but it just broke up constantly. I did a couple of flights with the phone away from me and the transmitter, and it seemed to make a big difference. So I think the transmission signal's interfering with the Wi-Fi. But when you move it away, you get some really nice footage. But it's designed. It's got a phone booth, so it's designed to sit on top of the TX. Doesn't really work, unfortunately.
Oh, that's a shame. But it sounds as if it's pretty good. Hey, TDR, Mark. Hello, folks. Cheers for joining. How are you both? Is it as good as the Petrel when it flies? Has it got more power?
Yeah, I'd say it's got a bit more power when you sort of swing it round and change direction, give it a punch, it responds straight away. You know, like the SEMA X25, when you turn it round and you fire it, and there's a sort of a slow delay as it builds up momentum. There's none of that. It's just response. It flies really, really nicely. It just does it quite slowly, but it glides through the air. It's really nice to fly.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic! So the Petrel is now on the bonfire on Monday, then.
Oh, that's unfortunately, I've not tried. I've put a mate cam and flown that, and that problem. Not entirely sure it's going to have enough juice to lift the cube cam, which is 24, 20. So it's a bit heavier. But the petrol, so I'm going to give it a go, and if not, then the petrol will just be for slightly heavier cameras kind of thing. It's a little bit smaller than the petrol in silhouette. I thought it was actually going to be about the same size, but it's a little bit smaller. But for its size, it's got quite a bit of punch, and the transmitter's good. It's all lit up with lights for every speed mode and what function you're in. It's quite a good controller.
Oh, excellent! Hey, D-Man, how's it going? How is everyone? It reminded me a bit of the SJRC transmitter, where you have all the different bits in it, all the different speed modes and return to home and everything else just lights up on the top. I love that. That's really nice, because I always forget what buttons are what. I'm a nightmare. But at least if you can see it flash up, it just gives you a little bit more visibility, doesn't it?
That's right. And you can look down and go, oh, yeah, no, I'm in speed mode 3. I know exactly, rather than having to press it again to find out what to talk. You know straight away that you're in whichever speed you're in. And I got probably, I did about 8 minutes on average for the first 3 flights for each
That's
flight.
Not bad.
Pretty good. And that was recording on and off, not constantly, but on and off recording. It's dying again. I'm back in a minute.
All right, mate, no worries. Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? TDR, Mark, D-Man, nice to have you here. Thanks very much. So how has everybody been? So I've taken what we were talking about at the beginning is I've taken out the Predator today. I've had this new plane, the Z51 Predator, for about 3 weeks, 3 weeks. And I've flown it 5 times, and well, today was the 5th, and every single time I've flown it, it's either not flown properly, or it's been off balance, or something just hasn't been right with it. And today I managed to fly it, and it was really nice. It actually flew for once, and it flew proper, and it seemed pretty good. I think I had it from RC Moment, and it only cost a couple of quid. It wasn't that expensive because it was new, so it was like a promotional thing they had going anyway. And I decided that I would dive in, and I would just get that anyway. Just, why not? It's a plane, a bit of assembly, a bit of fun, and then just take her up. And I got to be honest, about 15 minutes battery life. And she still had more to go, so I may have to take her up again next Saturday and record the whole battery life and see exactly how that goes. Mark, happy day. Finally got my second battery for the Dobby from China. Oh, fantastic. See, the Dobby, I've always been interested with that. That sort of kick-started the selfie revolution, didn't it? The selfie camera quadcopter revolution. I've always been really interested in that. I've never gone for it, though. Do you recommend that? Is that a camera that you actually like? Is it your only selfie copter that you have? I'm a big fan at the minute of, and I know a lot of people aren't, so bear with me. For the minute, I'm a big fan of sort of Wi-Fi pocket drones. So things like the Tello, the Dr. X behind me there, and a few others. I find them really, really, really good. Just whack them in your bag, whack on the transmitter, take your phone with you or tablet, whatever, and just go for a bit of a spin wherever you are. It's just brilliant. Love my drones. Hello, buddy. How are you? So yeah, that's what I'm a big fan of for the time being. For the minute, I'm getting a little bit sick and tired of the bad ones. As soon as you take up a quadcopter, and if you haven't got enough range, or if the connection's a little bit dodgy. But I think as far as it goes with the Dr. X and the Tello, those two seem to have nailed it, or more so the Dr. X than the Tello, in fact. But they seem to have nailed it quite well. Now I've been taking up the ferry as well, the Sim 2 ferry for that. I don't know if any of you guys, have piloted that, let me know in the chat. And I've managed to have three very successful flights. None on the transmitter, all using my phone or my tablet. As soon as I use the controller, obviously it's that firmware glitch, bad firmware, then you're just landing every 30 seconds. But if you're using a phone, or if you're using a tablet, as soon as you have a Wi-Fi connection, then it's great. 16-minute flight, brilliant. It's really nice, but I want to get that controller working. But I still don't recommend that quad. So if you're tottering on getting the Sim 2, don't for the time being, leave it alone. Mark, no, I have the JJRC 47. Dobbies are really good. Oh, really? Okay. JJRC 47. Which one's that? Let me do a bit of a Google so I can see which one that is. JJRC 47. Oh, I know. Yes. The H47. Yeah, the Alfie Plus. That's a nice one. I had that a little while ago, and I thought I'd give that a crack and see exactly how that goes. Love my drones. Good, thank you. That chop was very cool in the fog. Sorry, not sticking to the topic. No, it's okay. No topic. Just chime in and whatever. It's totally fine, man. Yeah, I had fun with that. As soon as I took it up, and I took it out a bit, and I thought, crap, it hasn't got an orientation light. And and then I brought it back around, and I just got used to it. But there was that split second where I thought, uh-oh, no orientation light. I'm not going to be able to see anything, which angle it's at. But it was okay. It's not bad. Southpaw, on my way. That's fine, bud. That's no problem at all. These technical things will always come up, mate. True Drones, firmware update for the ferry today. Oh, Brian, really? Fantastic. Have you tried it? Are you going to try it? Yeah, go on. Go out and try it. Is that... I got to do a bit of reading on that. D-Man, I put out a full day today, my Bebop 2. Ooh, D-Man, how are you finding the Bebop 2? I've seen the videos you put up so far of it. You look as if you're getting the hang of it a bit now. Have you done any real sort of distance on it yet? Or are you just sort of learning it around, close proximity to yourself? Mike, great show. Thank you, Mike. Love my drones. Beautiful save. Thank you, bud. Trying it tomorrow morning. Sweet. Yes, mate. I think that's going to be, well, hopefully it's going to be a good one. I might have to as well, take it out, charge it up, because I took it out today only on Wi-Fi. And again, 16 minutes. But it's not good enough, because you can hear those brushless motors. They want to go, and you can see on the controller, as soon as you give it 100% throttle, you can see the thing just wants to go. I really, really want to start ripping that thing around. It's got so much potential. I mean, the optical flow system, my findings, optical flow system and GPS, flawless. I think they work really well. And the switching between the two as well, and the self-calibration of GPS, I think that's marvelous. God, I couldn't have sounded any more British, and if I tried, could I? Marvelous. And then, and the size, the form factor is brilliant. The weight is excellent, but it's that transmitter just drives me absolutely insane. How I didn't smash it on the first video, I don't know. I just lost it. But I tell you what, Brian, I'm going to catch up with your videos tomorrow, bud, and let me know how it happens. Anyway, just drop us a Facebook message or whatever. I really look forward to hearing from you. D-Man put some distance on it with the latest video. Loving this Bebop, fantastic. Yeah, is that the Bebop? That's the two power. Isn't that the one with? I may be wrong with this. Isn't it 30 minutes or 40-minute battery life? I may be wrong with that, but 6 minutes before landing. Oh, fantastic! That's better. That's much better. I mean, I got a video going out tomorrow. So it's the premiere, so I'll be live chatting at the same time. And that's purely Wi-Fi. I tried it on the controller to begin with without the app. No, obviously it didn't work. And then I just switched directly to the phone and just flew around and had a whale of a time from that point. I'm still, in this video, I'm still a bit sore with it because it was, I think I filmed this one directly after the last one, so I hadn't forgiven it. But what did you do to actually figure it out? Of course, I'm going to watch your video, of course. But what is it that you thought? Because going from 30-second to a minute maximum flight on the transmitter to go into 6 minutes, that's a hell of a step up. That's really good going. D-Man claimed 30 minutes, got 3 with the new bundle pack. Oh, fantastic. So, what? Hang on, whoa. Claimed 30-minute batteries, got 3 with the bundle pack. So 3 batteries. Okay. So how long you having per flight, roughly? Because I'm guessing it's going to be between about 25 with a battery that hasn't really been used that much. Obviously, the more you use it, a bit like a muscle, it will start to retain charge a bit better until the cells start to die. Have you had that issue with the Bebop the charging issue? I'd be interested to find out, or even have you read up on it? Because apparently, I don't know if it's the same with the power, if it's just with the Bebop 2, but there is was a charging issue with it. That's, I think, my next venture. I think at some point, the Bebop 2. I got the one, had the one a little while ago, flew it around. Wasn't too fussed at it to begin with. Took a bit of time to get used to it, I think, because I've been used to DJI when you look at things like this, and they are, my opinion, they are very stable. They are very, very good. And then onto the Parrot, forgetting it's like 5 years older, so a bit older tech. It's actually now, I think I've done about 12 flights. I love it. I think it's fantastic. But it took me a good 5 or 6 flights to actually get into it properly. But now, yeah, now it's really good. Now I really like it. But yeah, I think tomorrow I've got planned another couple of flights in, hopefully. And then I think I'm definitely going to be taking up the Sim 2 again there, Brian. The Fairy. I mean, I got it here. I had it from this morning, charged it again. But do you know what? This had so much potential. Hopefully with the new firmware update, it's going to be better. But hopefully, because it has, not to say it has got so much potential. I just hope it can deliver, because it could be a game changer, especially with those 250-gram lows coming in, which we are going to be talking about a little bit later with Steve from Southpaw. But I think for the time being, even if it doesn't work very well, I mean, I got it on Wi-Fi. It's just not the same, though. It's just not brilliant. D-Man, I've flown for about 12 to 15 minutes. There's a battery recall from Bebop. Oh, really? Okay. Luckily, mine are not on the recall list. No problems charging so far. Perfect. Because I think it was to do with that not every single cell was being charged correctly. So out of say, argument's sake, the 3 cells, one of them wouldn't charge correctly. So when the other 2 powered down, the third one would just die. So your quad would just fall out of the air. But it sounds as if maybe they fixed that on the power. Maybe that's why they called it the power as well, because it actually had some, I don't know. But just so I'd let you know there. But I'm glad. If that is the case, mate, I'm glad. Steve! Hello, bud. How's it going?
Okay, so the battery on the tablet is so low that even with the charge cable in, it just keeps dying when I try and load it. So this is actually on my phone. But okay, we're here. Hi, hi everybody.
Fantastic. Well, it was a bit of a segue about 30 seconds ago where I started talking about the 250-gram laws in the UK. But I think from a conversation we had last week, you said you had some updates on that, or some updates on the laws.
Well, yeah, there's been a few changes in the States that's caught a few people out, but essentially they've not really introduced anything that we don't already have over here. So they've been bound to their 400-foot limit, and it looks like they're probably going to have to register their 250-gram drones and things like that. They're not taking it well, but it isn't much more than we've got over here. Yeah. What concerned me was the laws they brought in India last month.
Hi, JJ.
It's they're quite draconian, really. They've brought in laws that state that from this November, I think it is, it might be November 2019, but I think it's this November, all aircraft will have to have a GSM unit fitted to them. Okay. All aircraft owned in India, regardless of whether it's a hobby grade or a professional. So you'll have to have a SIM card in it, so that they can not only track you, but take over your aircraft if necessary and shut you down. Okay. All aircraft will have to have an RFID unit fitted, so that all air traffic control will give them a signal and they will know exactly where they are, what they're called, who's flying them. The controllers will have a GSM unit so that they can be tracked, the pilot can be tracked down to the square foot. They've also recalculated all the levels of drones. So anything under 250 grams is classed as a nano drone. And you can fly those up to 50 feet high without taking any sort of online competency test.
But you still need the GSM unit.
Yeah, as far as I can read, it's a bit vague, just like the CAA stuff.
Yeah.
It looks like probably they'll have to fit them. Anything over that, so up to, I think it's up to 2 kilos is classed as a small drone, and they'll not be allowed to be flown without. You'll have to register. You'll have to take an online competency test. They will have to have all the RFID units in them. And these things aren't small. I mean, even shrunk down, it's going to add a lot of weight to your aircraft, and of course, a lot of expense for the manufacturers making the aircraft. And it's looking quite like the British government are sort of going, oh yeah, some of those are quite good ideas, especially the SIM card units. There is rumours that they are thinking about putting GSM units on some classes of drones, so that can be that especially probably GPS drones that can be tracked, so that they can potentially take over your system if needs be. But they haven't introduced anything saying that yet. But the rumours are that they are indeed thinking about that sort of stuff.
Well, that kind of muddies the pool a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I obviously, as you say, it's early days with things like that. So are we looking at, if you already own quadcopters, then you're free from that, or have you got to give them in then somewhere for them to actually have the RFID chips and the GSM units added?
Well, they're talking about they discussed some sort of grandfather clause, and they didn't think that was probably going to have to be put into place. Okay. So it might be that you'll be exempt if you bought your drone before a certain date. Then you can probably get away with it for a while. But especially
have to buy them all.
yes, fingers crossed. Because if they, that's a great idea. Everyone just buys their drones before that date, and then you're laughing. Yeah, do what you like. Yeah. As long as you carry that receipt around with you the whole time, going, look, this is when I bought it. Yeah, and you'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. True Drones, JD, after you turn on the ferry, wait about 5 minutes and the update request will pop up. Yeah, I had that the first time I flew, Brian. The ferry, as soon as I literally calibrated, well, I turned it on and everything else, and then it just flashed up on the app, and it wouldn't let me fly until it had installed, and then it rebooted, and then it was fine and allowed me to fly then. Hey, Mark, how's it going, fella? How is everything down there with you? Is everyone setting off fireworks? It's like Baghdad out there with me today.
Yeah, we've got the same here. Yeah.
So if that is the case, then, and if I mean, with India though, they have got a bit more of a quadcopter problem than we have. I mean, you know, the size of the things you can see people flying up there is insane. You know, and not just that, they're flying them 5, 6, 7, 8 miles over very densely populated areas as well. So maybe it's something that would possibly work within somewhere like that, maybe, and maybe isn't needed in the States or in the UK.
Fingers crossed. I mean, their size calibrations now go up to something like drones over 60 kilos, and you think, Jesus, how big a thing are they flying? I mean, I know they're interested in deliveries, so it might be that they're just trying to clear the airspace for large carrying drones that are delivering stuff, I suppose. Maybe
because 60 kilograms for a quadcopter, that thing is insane. That's going to be like a hunter killer from Terminator.
That weighs more than I do. That weighs more than I do. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah,
and you know. Yeah, I really hope that doesn't sort of go live where everything needs to have a SIM card. I suppose if it does, it's not the end of the world, is it? It is just what it is.
I mean, if you're behaving yourself, it's actually handy for a GPS pilot. If you're up at 400 feet and the aircraft has got at least some idea that he can actually see you as another aircraft on his screen rather than just an alert, he can see where you are within that sort of FNS area that you've put up on NATs or something. He can see exactly where you are. So I suppose it could be good. It depends on whether DJI throw another 500 quid on the price of their drones because of it, sort of thing, because they're going to have to fit these sorts of things for certain countries.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading an article saying that when these 250-gram laws come in, there may be a possibility of regulating which quadcopters come into the country as well. So if you have a 250, just because a 250-gram law will be passed, doesn't necessarily mean that will be every 250-gram quadcopter that is built will come into the shows. If that's the case, that's going to restrict it even more. You know, because now we've got, I've got more quads recently under 250 grams, I think, because the manufacturers are trying to come under and still appeal to everybody else by adding technology and adding everything else as you'd have in the larger quadcopters, but into a much smaller form factor. So I really hope they don't do anything like that, because that could just be catastrophic if you could only get, say, 5 of a particular type of quad, or just from 5 manufacturers. But I'd be interested to find out how India reacts to all those changes. Did it say when it's going live?
I think it's either this November or next November.
Because it's November 2019, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm hoping it goes next year, so that way our government haven't got a year to look at theirs and go, let's pick out that what we can make money with, and so if they go out for both at the same time, fingers crossed, they haven't got the advantage, as it were.
Mark, delivering bags of spuds. Nice. Hey JL, how's it going? The Ferry has a nice camera from Brian, True Drone Reviews. It does, mate, it does. I mean, I like how it steps down. If you record directly onto the SD card, you get 1080p. If you record onto your phone, it's 720, and it's a really nice high quality picture. I was filming some deer this morning using it, and it was really, really nice. And you have proper quality there. It's not just noise, and that's what's nice. Is you can have a lot of these cameras don't have very good lenses, so it's just as soon as you go past 10 or 15 foot, it's just noise. With the Fairy, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more upper class without being, a DJI sort of spec camera. Hello, Ricardo. Thanks very much for joining us, buddy. So yeah, I don't know. It's all going to come down to finances, isn't it, Steve, at the end of the day? It's all going to come down to whether they think they can make money off it and whether it's something that they can, effectively bleed us dry over. But have you heard any more? One thing that I have been concerned about, and I've been looking left, right, and centre, and I can't find anything, and that is the restriction, or where we in the UK can go to register our quadcopters over 250 grams, but it doesn't look like there's a legitimate site that's still out there. It looks like
No.
for the second you've still got those charlatan sites out there saying, "Oh, come with us, you can register with us," but there doesn't look to be anything official.
Yeah, at the moment the CAA still haven't announced a winner, as it were, of their contract. I'm not even sure. The last I heard, they haven't actually shortlisted companies yet, so they'll probably leave it till the middle of next year before they even do it.
Yeah.
But at the moment, there's still no official sites, and no one should be registering their drone because you're just throwing your money away. That won't be legal at all. If you get approached by the police or anything happens, it won't cover you because there is no registration process yet until November at the league. That's when it comes in, and they still might not actually have it up and running till January, given that it's the British government. So it's quite possible that it will be delayed as far as the website will go. So I'm guessing it will be much more like sort of August probably before we hear who's going to be the actual winner, and then we can start probably pre-registering, or at least we can find out how much it's going to cost us. Put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping it's going to be something like, I was talking to somebody from Canada and they were going on and saying that, I may have the pricings incorrect, but they were saying I think it's either $5 or $10 and that's all you have to pay. But then that registers you for life then with that particular quad. You don't have to then do it again in 6 months or 1 year or every time you fly. It's just one payment, bang, that's it. There's your sticker. You're now qualified to take that out, registered rather to take that out. As much as I'm not trying to think about it, it does still worry me, quite a bit. That it has got to the stage where, okay, the 400 foot blanket, that's fine. That's never bothered me. I think the maximum I've ever flown is probably about 270. And then I thought, oh, if these motors fail, that quadcopter's smashed. So yeah, exactly. I mean, you spend so much for these things. I'm taking it up and I'm thinking it's going to fall on the floor. But yeah, I'm very concerned about what happens next. It's out of our hands. I mean, we can petition as much as we like. The fact of the matter being is that nobody is going to listen when it comes from the government. We've all tried. We've all signed that petition that you said about the public consultation, and once again, we had no idea when that went live. It's probably been retracted now, and we've probably going to have no idea of what's happened because of that. It's all going to be kept behind closed doors. And I think when it comes to our hobby and when it comes to, for a lot of people, their livelihood, it's wrong. It really is totally wrong. Hey, Temple Togs. Hey, Mark Asiatic. How's it going? True Drone Reviews. I really can't see a difference in the SD card and phone video. It's very slight. I had it quite literally next to it, side by side with a video scanner looking over both that showed me the pixelization of both the videos. That was how I knew. But I had to get it down to that level in order to do it. Hello, guys. Core looks like it's joined at the right time. Yeah. Well, nice to have you, Mark. And Temple Togs, nice to have you as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I've been watching... I've seen quite a few videos of a lot of guys in India flying their quadcopters. I think you've got a few of them. You've shared a few of them to me. That could be why they're restricting them, because some of them are insane. Yeah. Some of them actually, they look so nice, but they're the size of a football pitch when they fly. Yeah,
yeah, and right next to people as well, like 40 people watching them. That it could just plow into them just really badly. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Carolyn, aka my mum. Thanks for joining. Oh, we've lost your audio, Steve.
Oh, is it?
Oh no, you're back.
Oh no, don't have this fault as well. Yeah. It's not Friday the 13th, is it? No.
Yeah. No, you're all good now. I can hear you now. There's just a moment where I couldn't hear you at all. So yeah, I don't know. I think again, it's going to be a thing of we just got to wait and find out, haven't we? I think that's the biggest thing. But has it stopped you from buying any quadcopters over the 250 grand mark?
No. The next quad I'm looking at will be a GPS aircraft and probably will weigh over 250. But that's fine. I'll happily register it when I've got to. Yeah. I'd rather that I'd rather do it and have that little bit of paper with me just on the, because I've never seen a police officer when I've been flying at all.
No,
and no one that's ever come up has been anything other than curious. But you've only got to take that one incident of someone taking offence. At least if you've got that code number on your aircraft and it's all, you know, you look a bit more official. No, it wouldn't stop me. It wouldn't stop me at all.
No, this has been something I've been weighing up for a while as well. I think after, because it was 4 months ago when me and you last spoke live about this. Wow. And I think after that, I kept with a lot of the smaller quads for the time being, didn't spend out on anything large. And then after a while, I just thought, well, at least I've got 12 months of fun with anything larger, you know, before I have to register it or before I can't fly it or whatever. So I think now I've just got into my head that, same as you, if I have to register it, hence buying the bugs, because that's well over 250 grams.
Yeah.
It's a case of when I have to, I'm just going to register it, sod it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just staying with the law, isn't it, at the end of the day?
I want to get myself a Xiaomi Mi 4K or a Typhoon Q500. And they're both of those are way over 250.
Massively over. Yeah, I mean, that Typhoon is like 600-700 grams, if not a bit more, actually.
Massive, yeah.
But very, very good. Mark, I would not say it stopped me, but it makes me worry more. It does, yes. Southpaw. Oh, there's one directed there at you, Southpaw. A few directed at you. Southpaw, I missed the first half. What paper you talking about, mate? Right,
I'll send you a link, JD. It's the if you're a member of the droneenthusiasts.com, it's in their newsletter from last month. But it's basically Indian drone laws was the headline. I'm pretty sure if you Google that, new Indian drone laws, it'll come up with it. But it is a proper document there with a breakdown of basically the parts that would affect small flyers and low commercial flyers rather than sort of Google type operators.
Yeah. Ollie James, evening JD. Hey Ollie, how's it going? Love my drones. I have my laminated FAA card in my lanyard. Helps it sometimes. Yeah, helps it seems. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Is that, I suppose, I think if you have something in an official capacity, it would help when people walk up to you and say, oh, what is this? What are you doing? At least you can just flash the badge, can't you? And just say, you know, I've got this. At least people then, a lot of them will just put their tail between their legs and just walk away. I mean,
yes.
I think I'm very lucky in so much that if anybody does come into the field, it's always when I'm packing up, ready to go. And then I often stop for a good 10 minutes, 20 minutes, have a chat with them anyway, and just tell them what it is, that people aren't spying on you. It is just a bit of fun. Chances are, with a lot of these cameras, over 15 feet, we can't see you, let alone make out you, you know.
That's right. You can pick yourself out of a lineup from 30 meters away on most drones. You know, unless you really knew that was you in number 5, you'd never have a guess.
Yeah, exactly. I think people just see them as flying cameras and just get a little bit concerned. Mark, thinking of the Spark as my next drone, but the Hubsan Zeno is looking great on first viewing. The Hubsan Zeno is looking great. What puts me off from the Hubsan Zeno is the aftercare support. That puts me off massively. You go on to, like, say, any larger, whether it be toy grade or whether it be hobby grade forums like DJI or Unique or anything like that, and you've got aftercare support. With Hubsan, it's really not great. So I don't know. I'm still kind of tottering between yes or no. I don't know about the Zeno yet. But yeah, I think for the time being, I think, Steve, we're just going to have to wait and find out, I think, with a lot of that, and just see exactly what is going to happen. Because, you know, we can guess until the cows come home, can't we? We're not going to know. You know, they're not going to make it public until it goes public. Like when they lowered the limit to 400 foot. We didn't know about it until it went live.
No, that's right. Yeah, we didn't get told. Did you see the latest CAA have put some restrictions on the DJI Matisse?
No.
There's been some incidents, quote unquote. I'm not privy to what the incidents are, but anyone flying the M200 series has been told they are not allowed to fly within 150 meters of people. They're not allowed to go over 200 feet. They must have line of sight of their aircraft at all times. And there's all sorts of other restrictions to do with the thermal imaging system. They've had some problem with that, and DJI are looking into it, quote unquote. But
Wow.
yeah, the Matisse has been, by the look of it, perhaps dropping out of the sky, allegedly.
Wow, that's what I was just thinking then. If they're not allowed to go above 200 foot, if they're lower in the blanket, then that's got to be to do with something hardware, mechanical, you know, some sort of failures. It has to, because that is a good old reliable drone.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
unless they've done some kind of firmware update that's really screwed things up, maybe, I don't know. But there's been some major restrictions put on. The FAA have done it as well. So
wow,
I'm not sure which one happened first, but worldwide, pretty much the Matisse is all but grounded.
Good God. Because the Matisse range, I think there's 3 of them in there in particular. And they've been around for years, but they've always been seen as a very, well, at least I've always looked at them as being the sort of creme de la creme of the DJI products, a lot like the Inspire. But if they...
the restriction also applies to the Inspire 2. Something to do with the batteries on the Inspire 2.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So whether the batteries are disconnecting or giving a false battery life, or don't know, but I wouldn't mind having either of them.
DJI's inbuilt battery, not tester, but battery monitoring tool is usually pretty good in DJI Go 4. You can see each cell and the voltage passing across each cell. So unless people aren't looking at that and these batteries are failing just because of overuse.
Yeah, maybe they've run the batteries too long and you know, for a couple of 3 years. Yeah. And they should really be changing them out.
Absolutely. I mean, these quads are huge. They weigh a ton. They are proper production, you know, quadcopters, and you know, you need a proper power supply to power that. And if you've got one which is faulty, say for argument's sake it is. I'm not saying that it is, you know, because I don't know.
No.
But if you don't have a proper power unit in the back, then yeah, you're in for trouble. Love my drones. Never had a Hubsan. Some love them, some hate them. Yeah. Now I came under fire a couple of months ago for saying that one of my all-time favorite quads is a Hubsan quad. It's the H502E and S, 2 different ones, but still, you know, within that same family. I love them. But then I've also had a Hubsan which only gave me 4 minutes of battery life, and that was even after buying new batteries. You know, it's hit and miss with Hubsan. That's the thing. And if I'm going to be spending 300 quid in a quadcopter like the Xeno, I at least want to know that I've got some reassurance there. Do you know what I mean? And it may sound a bit silly, but I just want to know that I've got something I can fall back on. Like, say what you want about DJI. Again, it's like Hubsan. Some like them, some loathe them. But I know if I've got a problem, I can go to DJI in America, DJI in China, DJI in the UK, you know, and they will do what they can to sort out the issue within the quadcopter or whatever, or the ordering issue or whatever. Yeah, I think... I don't know. The Xeno, what do you think, Steve? The Xeno, have you seen much about it?
I've only seen the promo videos so far. The same thing with the SEMA brought out a version as well, like a mini.
Yeah, that looks nice. 122 quid.
Yeah, that looks quite good. So there's a few coming out, that alternatives. There was another one. What was there? It wasn't Hubsan.
SGRC.
It might have been, but it looks quite a lot like the Amafi, the Parrot. It looks a bit.
SJRC. Yeah, the Z. Is it the Z5?
Yeah. Oh, the one I was thinking of is the Alsenma, the CGO something from Alsenma.
That's finally been sent. 2 months I've had that. It's finally been sent. So God knows. I hope when it arrives, it works.
Well, from what I've seen, it's as good as the is it called the GUO 02? I can't remember. It looks like a chunky Mavic. It's a little bit larger, but it's about 500-600 quid.
Yeah.
And the footage is on a par with what I've seen from a basic Mavic. So fingers crossed that, because it will be a lot cheaper than a DJI. Probably have a few less bells and whistles, but you know, I'm not so worried about obstacle avoidance and stuff. I'd rather kind of know where it is from being able to see it, rather than rely on the old obstacle avoidance stuff.
Yeah, this is, you know, as much as I love technology, and as much as I love having all that, built into a quadcopter, there's something really, really nice in grabbing a quad like the Bolt B, for argument's sake, and that's your fault. I got 2 of those things. And there's something nice about grabbing that and just taking it out and knowing that the only thing that's in control is you. There's no computer guidance system. There's no obstacle avoidance. There's no satellite link up. There is nothing. It's just you, and that is beautiful. I love that. I really do. As much as I love all these big GPS quads and everything. I love basic quads. That's where the love is for me. I think with a lot of these things, it's just the more basic it is, the more I love it. Absolutely, and that's why I love planes so much. You can't get more basic than a plane,
No. Well, no, that's why I like that little brushless helicopter, because there's no tricks or fancy manoeuvres or anything. It's just you controlling it, and it's really good fun. That's the one. Yep.
Yeah, that thing. Do you know what?
No.
That thing is absolutely.
I bought him that for his birthday.
Natasha says she bought me that for my birthday. She wants credit.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Couldn't have got a better birthday present. That thing is amazing.
No, he loves it.
Right, let's see what's going on in the chat. Love my drones. I've seen some awesome Bebop 2 flights. D-Man, I watched RC Sailors and the Xeno. Impressive, especially the price. Is it really, D-Man? I haven't watched that. I haven't seen anything to do with the Xeno. Before I buy a quad, I won't watch any of the videos leading up to it. I like to have my own impressions about it, so I don't know. That's probably why I'm so undecided about buying it. Star Wars quads. Yeah. GD, one thing you often say, don't lose the Wi-Fi signal, else the drone will just keep flying far away from you. Why do they design it like that? Why not just make the drone stop? Some quads do. Some will come back in. It's almost, with a lot of quadcopters, as soon as you lose Wi-Fi signal, it's almost like them hitting a geofence. Some of them will come back, or some of them will at least stop. A lot of them land. Some of them do just hover. Which was the one that I lost signal with, and it just kept on going. Oh, the Dr. X. That was it. Now, it could have been down to a couple of issues. It could have been that maybe it hadn't read that it had lost signal. Maybe it was just that I couldn't control, so I started to walk forward because I thought I had lost it. Maybe it's just bad design. That's another thing. Maybe people don't think about the fail-safe aspect of these quads. They just think about how they look like when they're flying. Now, I did a couple of fail-safe tests today on another quad that's coming next week, I think. And every single test I found, it dropped to the floor. It landed itself. Is what I mean to say. It didn't just knock off the motors. But there are a lot of quads that do just keep on going, and it does disturb me quite a bit. And I think a lot of the time when you see people chasing drones, like the image of people chasing their drones across the field trying to reestablish a Wi-Fi connection to the drone, is just it is funny. It is, and that's exactly what happened to me. I had to walk forward with my smartphone out. This is why I like to use a repeater. Just simply because you normally keep it quite close to where you are anyway, but you know that you have that signal, and that signal range, that signal strength rather, so it's not going to disconnect. D-Man, JD, do you still have the fish face quad? That's the one, my friend. Yeah, the Dr. X, the fish face quad. That's the one. It's sitting over there, thinking about what it's done. And Propel Star Wars drones. Oh, that's one, Steve. The Millennium Falcon.
Oh yeah.
When's that coming? Is it out?
Well, there's a couple of versions out already. The official one, I'm not sure. I'm sure they will bring one out, but there's a couple of Millennium Falcon aircraft out. There's one that's basically EPP foam with 4 sunken motors into it, so that they're basically inside the body area.
I've seen that one.
And a big light bar at the back, so when you fly away, you get that effect of the Millennium. Oh, it does look cool, but it's so light, you need very little wind to fly it. But it does look good outside at sort of semi-dusk time. Really, really nice. They're not very expensive as well because it's EPP and not molded or anything. Yeah. So they're quite cheap. I might have to pick one up in the spring just for a laugh. Yeah,
I think I might have to be honest with you. There was also, what was the one I was looking at the other week that was on Telephony's channel as well? Oh, that was it. The This is a couple of months back now. He still got them up there though. The Star Trek, what's it called? The USS Enterprise.
Enterprise. Yes, I saw Dustin Dunhill. Yeah, I saw Dustin Dunhill review that in his house. He flew around his house. He did really well not to smash his entire house to pieces because it is a big old thing. It doesn't stop very well either. It does sort of glide and keep going, and but it's quite funny. Yeah.
What else we got? Temple Togs. Can anyone help with my question above? Which one's that, bud? Lose white. Yeah. Can anybody else help with a question to do with Wi-Fi? I know Temple Togs. I know the Bebop will return to home. Steve, have you got any other information on that? Why quadcopters often say they don't lose Wi-Fi signal and they just keep on flying? They just won't stop.
Well, usually it's because the manufacturer hasn't built a fail-safe into the protocol. I mean, if you've got like a jumper controller and you hook up any aircraft to it, you can then go in and change those fail-safes and set them. So they're always available to the manufacturers to set. It's just that some of them don't seem to set them at all, or I think sometimes when it loses connection, maybe because it's trying to re-establish, it doesn't engage its fail-safe, or the fail-safe doesn't engage. I've had a Visio do that. I tested it for fail-safe, and it landed perfectly 5 seconds after the controller shut down. It landed absolutely fine. And then I got it 50 meters away from me, and it lost connection, and then it just kept going, and I never saw it since.
Wow.
So the fail-safes don't always engage, even though they're there sometimes. So I don't know whether it's trying to reconnect or what, but it does seem to occur occasionally, or whether it locks onto other people's Wi-Fi signals. If you get into a sort of a mesh of signals, maybe it sort of gets confused with the residentials and thinks it's still connected, or I don't know, but sometimes they do just keep going, which is really bad.
A lot of people also find it quite funny to Wi-Fi hijack as well.
Yeah, there is that. That does go on. Yeah. That's another thing I meant to mention. I've tried to hook the Holy Stone to the Xiaomi repeater.
Yeah.
And I can't get it to connect because it won't connect to any network that's not a secured network.
All right.
It hasn't got a password. It won't let me connect to the network. If it's an open network, it'll only connect to password protected networks. But I've seen other people use them without any issue at all. So
I've done the same with the windmill. I think the windmill was not that was not security. That was not password secured. I'm pretty sure that was open as well.
I'll have to have another go at that.
Yeah. Also, it only works to 2.4, not 5.8 either. But if the Holy Stone's probably running 2.4 anyway.
Yeah, no, I've got no 5.8 at the moment because I've got nothing to receive them on. My phone barely receives Bluetooth, let alone anything else.
Okay. But yeah, I think I think a lot of the other stuff as well, when it comes down to Wi-Fi, is you've got to take environmental factors into it as well. If you've got a bad day, if you've got storms or anything like that, any sort of electrical or magnetic interference is going to interfere with Wi-Fi signal. But I think it should be a must. What I want to see, going off the back of what Temple Togs asked, I want to see a geofence for Wi-Fi. So if you're say running, say, an iPhone 8 or something like that, or even an Android phone, you've got a particular maybe 10 meters or 10 foot around you, and then with that the quad just stops. I know a lot of people wouldn't be happy with that, but honestly, I think that's a lot safer than the quad just keeping on going like the Dr. X did.
Yeah, we could also do without people like BT advertising their broadband can reach 70 meters away from your house. It's like, okay, well, who needs that? Who needs broadband 70 meters away from their house?
That's something that annoys the hell out of me when people say, "Oh, you'll get 300 foot from this." Yeah, that's as the crow flies. If everything's perfect, nobody else is around, and it's just a field, and there's no magnetic interference anywhere, and there's not a storm, and everything's fine, and humans don't exist. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. Does that answer your question, Temple Togs? I know it's kind of with that sort of question, it's very difficult to kind of pin down to one thing. I think it's multiple answers for that one question, to be honest. Love my drones, the NCC 1701, the Enterprise. It was indeed. I don't know why I forgot that. But yeah, I think there are great strides with Wi-Fi communications, but I think before they do anything more with drones, they have to come up with their own band, or at least hijack another band, or at least use a protocol like Wi-Fi. Why don't they use Li-Fi? Li-Fi is it's not on any devices, but you could. So I just answered my own question, but they could use Li-Fi. Li-Fi is a lot stronger. It's light. It works on the same premise as fiber, but without obviously there being a cable in between. And it has got double, if not triple, the distance of Wi-Fi. Secure, without it actually, because you pick up a manual and it says this Wi-Fi quad will do 100 foot. No, it won't. It'll never do 100 foot. It'll do 10, 15 maximum.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Dr. X was. It wasn't too far away from me, but just it is what it is. That's it. It just unhooked and kept on going. Luckily, I got it back in range and then got control of it. But so have you got any planes coming then, Southpaw?
Well, I'm looking at this time of year. No, because around here it would be 40 mile an hour between now and January probably.
Really?
On and off. Yeah, we get some really bad winds at sort of autumn winter time. It's not been too bad today, but it's up to sort of 15 miles an hour, which puts most small planes out of the air anyway.
Yeah.
But I would like one of those Predators, because I think looking at the shape of that, I can build a camera into that, right into that pod that's underneath it, and that'll look really, really cool. But a little all-in-one camera type thing. I've seen Quadcopter 101 did a flight with an all-in-one on it, and they will carry the weight of it with a little battery strapped to it. So there's a second version of the Predator. I think it's called something else, but it looks the same, other than it's got 3 props. It's got a tail motor on the actual thing, and that can do the loops and a few stunts and stuff. That's a little bit more acrobatic than the other one. But I'd rather start, because I've never flown model aircraft before, planes. So I think something nice and sort of flat with a gyro is probably a good idea to start with.
I got the Reaper coming based off the link that you sent on Facebook a little while ago. I ordered that a few days ago, so that would be here soon, hopefully. But
that looks good.
That one is good because it's made by XK, so the same people that did that huge plane. And excuse me, that's going to be very good because that can hold weight, properly stabilized, and will work well. I'm quite surprised that Quadcopter 101 managed to get that camera built into that Predator, because when I flew it today, it took a lot of work. A lot of work.
He mounted it. Where did he mounted it just above the bulge on the back of the head, as it were.
Oh, yeah.
Aircraft. And then put the battery further back, sort of. I think he'd had to balance it out because of the extra weight. Otherwise, it would just sort of tip forward constantly or tip backwards. But he messed around with the weight in that, and he had to move it on its little Velcro pouch a couple of times to get it to level. First time he hand launched it just dove into the floor and just smashed off. But he got there. He did fly, and once it was in the air, it didn't seem to really bother it at all.
Yeah, that was the hardest thing I found. Mine kept on hitting the floor. That was without the camera. It's a pretty crazy little thing. That is. It's very very temperamental. But when you get it up there and when it's flying, it's fine. But it's just getting it up there is a nightmare. Yeah. But for the price, it's definitely worth a punt. Absolutely. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Nice to have you here. Just tried out the new XS812 GPS. What a great toy. Use 3 batteries, waiting for recharged. I'm new, but the only problem I see is it's jerky and hard to fly smooth. Okay. What's that one? The XS? Oh, that's the Vizio, isn't it? The XS812 GPS. Yeah, that's a fantastic little thing. That is. That's very good. Didn't you say your quadcopter that flew away was a Vizio?
It was. But that didn't have return to home. that was just the original. I was actually tempted to get because the Vizio it flew so well. It was such a brilliant aircraft to fly. Really, really sharp, and it was a kind of like a cheap sports flyer almost, because it had quite a lot of grunt. I've even used it to carry an action cam that weighed about 60 grams. So it really had some beef. But yeah, unfortunately, but yeah, I would actually be interested in getting one of those, the GPS version, because I've seen a few videos. I've seen yours, and I've seen QuadCopters Drones review it as well, and it does look like actually a really nice bit of kit.
The thing about the Vizio is that they've made it work as a very basic quad, like about a year ago, 2 years ago. When I first had it, it was about a year and a half ago, and it was all right, but it was basic. And then they've taken that same basic idea and they've just added more things to it. Yeah. So it's almost like a tried and tested concept. It's very good. It's very good. I think out of a lot of the toy grade copters, it really does stand out for me personally. It really does. FPV quality is okay. Hurt my eyes after a little while, but that could just be me. Distance, pretty good. You know, running 5G, you're not having any problems at all. It's very good. Very good, and a great price as well.
And that work with sort of goggles as well. With a 5.8, you can hook that to any set of goggles that you can think of.
Yeah, exactly, and it works well. It works very well. True Drone Reviews. I'm going to post that ferry video now so you can see my theory on it. Perfect. Thank you, Brian. I'll check that out, bud. Yeah, I think that's... Hey, AD with everything. How are you doing? My nephew has got the drone bug now too. He's just bought a Bebop 2. His dad is so happy with me. I bet he's loving you after spending out for that, mate. I've got to pop off, guys. Perfect. Thank you very much, Mark. Take care of yourself, mate. Hope everything's good. I'll speak to you soon, yeah? Take care, Mark. Cheers, bud. So I think for me, the next thing is definitely getting that Reaper out. And that's your fault again, Steve. That's your fault with the Holy Stone Bolt. That's your fault with the Reaper. You've got a lot to answer for, but your fault with the V930 as well.
At least none of them have been a dud. Fingers crossed so far up to now. They're all good.
No, that's
terrible now.
Yeah, no, they've all been great, mate. All been great so far. That's the only thing I worry about as well. It's like if I have a great experience with one, is the next person that gets that going to have a good experience with that? That does bother me quite a bit. But I don't know. I think for me, I really want to get that ferry working. That ferry's bothering me a lot. Really, really bothering me a lot more than I quite should.
It's got potential, hasn't it? It does look like a sort of a mini, not a spark killer, but certainly a cheaper alternative to one.
Yeah, I think so. And in many respects, and I'm probably going to get shot for saying this, in many respects, I think it'll be better than the Spark. I really do. Just simply because I think it's got that price point and it's got so much more technology built into it than the Spark. It just needs to have better software. It needs to have better firmware. The app needs to get, needs to be better. I know a lot of the people in China are flying this on a totally different app to the one that we have. It's still a ferry app, but it's their version and it works beautifully. But unfortunately, it's not out in the UK or US.
I've heard the Parrot software that's been converted to Chinese is much better than the original Parrot software. So they've obviously got the knack for sort of transcoding things. Yeah, they really have. They'll rip things apart, and because they don't really mind for copyright laws or anything like that. They don't seem to bother at all about copyright at all, do they? Yeah, they'll just blatantly copy someone else's design, use their transmitter shape. I mean, they don't care, but nobody seems to sue each other. You'd think it was a wash with litigation, but they don't seem to care, do they? They just carry on making another one. So
exactly.
The biggest surprise to me was when DJI didn't sue WL Toys over that Q3, because I mean that was a blatant copy. I know it had none of the capabilities, but it was a blatant copy, and they didn't.
That was the Inspire one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it looked like a little mini Inspire. They've discontinued that now. I was going to actually get one, but I think they've discontinued it now. But that's a shame because it's big enough to be quite a good platform. Yeah,
I think with something like that, it really makes me smile because you've seen that they've copied the landing gear, they copied the placement of the camera, they copied the shape and the body. But what they've done with it is they just made subtle differences, very slight things that they can turn around and say, "Oh no, it's totally different." We're just paying homage to DJI. That's what it is. We love you guys.
Design, Yeah.
I always find stuff like that so absolutely hilarious. The blatant disregard for anything is just brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it. I just think
I mean, it works. Everybody makes a bit of money out of that design, and you know, in a different way, and no one's actually competing with each other. So it kind of works out.
It does, and I was the same as you because I saw MD95 TSI fly his, and I thought, wow, that looked cool. I was going to get it, but again, discontinued. Have you been noticing recently? I've had a few people ask me to get them quadcopters, and I can't get them. They're only about 8 or 9 months old, and they've just been discontinued.
Maybe they run short matches. I don't know whether perhaps they think, right, well, this has got a life of maybe a year. We'll just make 500,000 of them or something, and then when it runs out, we switch over to the next model. It depends on their manufacturing process, I suppose.
Yeah,
but so far I've not. I mean, there's a few. Like the Drocon Bugs 3, there seems to be in a wash of those at the moment. So I'm guessing that once all of those are cleared out, we won't see it again because they've moved on to something else.
The firmware update today was Chinese. TDR about the ferry. It was Chinese.
There you go.
So yeah, fingers crossed it works properly. I'm hoping so. DJ are not going to waste their time and money suing WL Toys. No, they're not. To them, it's small fry. The amount of time, money, and effort it would take to do that, and for what? For an 80 quid quadcopter, it isn't worth their time. It isn't at all.
No.
Mark, JD, I need to be let loose in your room. Feel free, bud. They will discontinue them if they don't sell right away. Is that what it is? So if they're not picked, so with a lot of things, they will keep on flogging that horse until it literally dies, and then they'll pull it like a year or two later. But what I've been noticing is, if I try to get something which is like 6 or 8 months old, I can't do it. I can't get it. Not with everything, but with some things. But as Brian said, they'll discontinue them if they don't sell right away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. See, I'm still thinking about this 250 gram law. I can't get it out of my head. But hopefully we'll have a bit more information on that soon. But it is 2019, isn't it? It is all going ahead. It's not this year. It's not this November.
November 2019. Yeah.
Yeah, good. There we are. But at least, and hopefully we can get something. So, what else are all of you guys flying in chat? What have you been taking out recently? I know that D-Man has been taking out his Bebop 2 Power. That's such a lovely, lovely quad that is. I really wouldn't mind getting that. But maybe later on. I've got my wish list for quadcopters is probably like yours, Steve. It's probably, stretches down the stairs, around the corner, outside.
Yeah. It's stored on 48 different data memory sticks. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
pretty much everything I see I want, to be honest. Unless it's a race, unless it's like a race drum, I'm not an acro pilot, and I've no ambitions to be one. So I can resist that kind of quad, but just about any other kind of quad, I was like, oh yeah, I could do one of those. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
They're just great fun. Brian also follows up and says that they will make 1,000, and if they sell, they will order another run. If not, see you later. That makes sense.
Right.
I suppose they're all in it to make money, aren't they? And if they don't want to be bashing out loads and loads and loads of models, if they're not going to sell, but I suppose it is what it is. It's a shame because you can't get those quads, and some of them are really good. I wouldn't mind owning them, but oh well. See what it's like. Maybe we can get them secondhand, perhaps. But then they're probably going to be ruined.
I mean, the reconditioned from DJI would not necessarily be reconditioned from WL Toys. So it would be probably ruined. Yeah,
it would be.
I mean, it's strange. Sometimes you think almost that the flash sales and things that they have are obviously to get rid of extra stock, and that's probably why, because they're the end of the 1,000 run that was made. And they've got to clear the warehouse for the next 1,000 runs of whatever the next seam of X25 with 3 more letters after it is coming out, basically.
Yeah, I think so. So you don't have any sort of any sort of you don't want to fly FPV then? You don't want to get into FPV races or into acro? I think you said
FPV definitely, because I'd like to do some high speed following RC cars and things with goggles on, so that I can actually see what I'm doing real close up. But as far as acrobatics, no, that's not me. For a start, I would go through 40 quads a day every time I tried to do a power loop, and probably land it in the middle of my top of my head whilst I'm wearing the goggles. So no, the acro's not for me, but FPV definitely. I'm quite hopeful that if I can get that feed working on that Holy Stone, that's got VR on the app. You can split the screen. So I want to give that a go with the VR goggles and see if I can get that running. Not sure that'll be far enough away from the actual monitor to the TX. We'll have to see. But yeah, that's quite a good feed. I would like to get a nice 5.8 gigahertz setup aircraft all in one, ready to go, rather than having to make one up myself. But there's not a lot that isn't based around acro type aircraft, and they're really expensive to replace parts on, and very sort of labor intensive from what I can see. So I just like things I can get out of the box and put a battery in, and away you go.
Yeah. I think what I found is 65, 85, 120 mil quads that I love that with the FPV racing. I'm the same as you. I'm useless with acro. I can do it, but I'm very slow, trying to get everything back in properly. If it's not gyro accelerated acro, if it is just, proper, you have to tilt it every single direction to get it around properly.
Yeah.
I love FPV. I want to do more FPV. The problem I always have is whenever I put the goggles on, I always think to myself, if somebody walks up behind me now, I'm not going to know anything about it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You're going to wake up with a bad head and your quad's gone. But as Love My Drone says in the chat, just a little UR65 for me today, FPV brushless whoop. The UR65s are fantastic, and they really are at a great price point as well. There we are, outside in a 10 mile an hour breeze. Felt more like it was in air mode the whole time. Been doing horizon mode with it. Perfect. Absolutely wonderful. Actually, it's not as hard as you think. I cheated though. My first power loops was in horizon mode, so stabilize until you hit the sticks more than 50%. So, I mean, the acro I did on the acro diaries, to follow on from what Love My Drone says, that was all gyro stabilized, and it was line of sight acro as well. So that made it a bit harder, but I just love line of sight for me. I love FPV as well, but I think for me, I get a kick out of taking a quadcopter to 100, 150 meters and then turning it around just by looking at it. I love doing stuff like that. Think we're all addicts. I bought a SEMA toy from Aldi as a bit of fun. Got 9 quads now. Oh, Mark, next you're going to have 12 quads, mate. Then you're going to have 15, and then you're going to have a few more. It's such a addictive hobby. It's great fun. You can, lol, GD quad, but you can look around you, see them sneaking up. Yeah, you can. Southpaw. Thanks, Mark. I'll check it out. Yeah, I think if I had more time, and if I was aware that people weren't coming into that field, then I would love to do more FPV. I can literally do as much as I can. I did the one on the video maybe a week ago, a fortnight ago. But a lot of it is I get concerned if people walk into the field, I can't see them. I turn the quad around the camera, it's then noticing the people have walked in. I don't like flying with other people around me at all.
Yeah. I mean, when I do the VR stuff, I always have Natasha with me, so that more for one thing because the lenses on the petrol and the SEMA and things like that, they're so zoomed in that you think you're a lot closer to yourself than you actually are. So that when I'm at 50 meters, it looks I'm 20 meters away. So I'll keep going out, and I'm getting towards the point of getting out of range. So Natasha's there to say, then pull it back in because you're going to lose it. It's more to do with that really than it is to. But yeah, there's always the thought of someone popping you in the back of the head with a hammer or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just get really paranoid if people start walking down the field with me.
Yeah. yeah, it's just a safety issue straight away. You think, oh no, what if I lose it and I hit him in the head? You know, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then, yeah, I don't know.
Worse, their dog.
Sorry, mate.
Or worse, hit their dog.
Oh, mate, you know what? I wouldn't feel as bad if I hit a human. If I hit a dog, I'd be livid.
Me too, yeah.
Mortified. I wouldn't be able to look at my own dogs if I hit somebody else's dog with a quad. You know? But you're an awesome LOS pilot, JD Quad. I get lost too easy. Oh, thank you, love my drones. I wouldn't say I'm awesome, but yeah, I enjoy line of sight a lot. I get a kick out of that. True Drone Reviews, the video is up. Perfect. Thank you, Brian. Everybody, Brian's new fairy video is up. We'll have to have a little look at that and see how that goes. Hopefully, it's even better.
Hudson H122D X4 Storm. So I'll have a look at that. Actually, I'll take a look at that tonight. Thanks for that, Mark.
Hey, Timothy, how's it going, buddy? Thanks for joining, mate. Yeah, I think for me, I would much prefer to have a field to my own, just to myself. Yeah. But yeah, that's never going to happen.
Just buy an old military airbase or something. That'd be perfect for me. Yeah.
Oh, mate, I'd love to do something like that. There are military bunkers online, old nuclear bunkers you can buy. I'd love to do something like that, and then fly a quad around the inside of that bunker. That would be amazing. That
would be good, wouldn't it?
Can you live in one of them?
Yeah, you can live in one of those.
I want to go live in one.
She wants Natasha wants to live in a nuclear bunker. Okay.
Yeah, they look fantastic. There's
business in the States. Doing out to £1 million quality and stuff. It's a massive market in the States for underground bunkers being converted.
Yeah, Nuclear Bunkers UK. If you look for Nuclear Bunkers UK for sale, then you can. There we are. There's a couple near Bristol, near me, that have been renovated and done up, and people have actually bought them.
Wow,
looks fantastic. If you ever get the money, do it.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to do that. Right, I tell you what, folks, I think that's going to be everything from us for today. Thank you all for joining. Steve, stay on the line, bud. We'll have a bit of a catch up. And I tell you what, if you haven't already, nip over to True Drone Reviews, check out his new video. Thanks for coming in, folks. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you very, very, very soon. Take care, folks.
Catch you later, guys.